What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for a new video, a new series. It's gonna be daily news extra. We're gonna try to drop it a bit earlier for the different viewers on our channel who are living on a different part in the world where they cannot watch always. So it's a new thing. It's basically gonna cover the news that will drop late night. So the news basically Justin didn't cover during the regular daily news video, because during the transfer window, as you know, things will drop in the morning and late night in Europe, and late night means early morning for a lot of other people. So this is a new video. Like and subscribe as always, and let's get straight into it. Like the biggest news is, because just before I started recording this video, the Pogba news not broke, but like confirmations about the fact that the deal is probably gonna happen have been coming out. First, Alfredo Pedula, Nico Schira, Mirko Di Natale, basically saying all the same thing. There's a very positive feeling around the club, within the club with Pogba, that this deal will happen. That's basically what everyone is saying. Alfredo Pedula saying it's 8+2. Nico Schira reporting the same. So everything is consistent in terms of wages, in terms of the positive feelings, all those things. So that's that. Nico Schira said Juve is very close to signing Pogba. He also said over the past few days, Paul Pogba also spoke on the phone with Max Allegri, who told him about his plans and his project for the new Juventus. A phone call together with those of the Bianconeri manager, much appreciated by the Frenchman. So we talked about it on the channel. There are two options for Pogba. You go with the money, and I don't mean that in a bad way. And I know my camera is doing a madness now, so I don't know what's happening. But you can go for the money, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I'm not saying, oh, he's choosing the money, which, like, I won't blame anyone for that, you know. Or you choose for Juve. You choose to come in a team who are struggling. Like, let's not kid ourselves. But you're coming into an environment where you're gonna be loved, supported by the club. That's the biggest thing. Like, he didn't have that at Man U, and people say, oh, he didn't need to leave. I agree with all those things. That's the decision he needs to make. Money, PSG, and a better squad, or quote unquote stability in terms of environment, you know, in the club. You know, we as fans are all negative, or like not all, but like we're complaining. Within the club, it's different, you know. At Man U, there are leagues. At Juve, that doesn't happen, you know. So that's the decision he needs to make. And apparently, according to, you know, all the sources, basically Nico Schira, just name it, it's gonna happen. So I don't like. Am I surprised? I am, because we all thought, or we all expected, it's gonna be Savic. Like, nobody expected we're gonna sign Pogba on a free, because we talked about his injury record and all those things, his time at Man U. You know, the regular things, like the usual things. We talked about it at length. Everyone on the channel, you guys in the comments, in the chat. So that's not a surprise. You know, that's not the thing the club is apparently thinking about. They're thinking he's a quality player. They still believe they will get him back to the level, or Allegri believes that. And he's free. That's the biggest thing. He is a free agent. You don't need to pay Man U. You don't need to go and negotiate with any team. It's simple, basically, quote unquote. You know, you agree terms with the player, you sign him, and you move on to your next target. You know, that's the feeling I'm getting, you know. Let me know what you guys think about the Pogba deal. Like, I'm not going to say I'm completely not excited, you know, because it's still Pogba, you know, and I know what he's capable of. I've seen it. It's not going to be the same. I'm not, you know, stupid. I don't think it's going to be the same, because it's been a while, you know. I don't think you can just flip the switch, but I still think he's quality. But those injuries, they do concern me, because because of this season. Look at the injuries we have and just look at the state of our midfield anyway. Like, let's say he's out. It's going to be the same guys again. And we've seen what the same guys are capable of. Not a lot. Not a lot of good things anyway. So, I don't know. It's a difficult one. Like, it's hard to say completely no to Pogba. But when people say no, I understand why they're saying it. It's not, and maybe it sounds like, oh, you're not spoiled, but like you cannot be spoiled in this situation. I think we can, because it has been so bad that I think we can say we need something certain, and nothing is certain. No transfer is certain. I get that. But still, like some certainty in terms of Savic. He never picks up an injury almost. That's a certainty, you know? I think that's what we're all looking for, me included. So I'm not going to say I'm overexcited. I'm not going to say I hated the deal on all levels, because that's also not true. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's because I wanted Savic. I had Savic in my mind, and maybe that's the reason why I'm like, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe that's the reason. But apparently it's going to happen. We will keep an eye on that. You know, Mirko De Natale said there's a willingness to close the deal at the start of next week, or at least before the end of the month, basically. So let's see how that will pan out, and then we move on to basically the next one, the next guy up, you know, and that's Angel Di Maria. Again, free transfer, easy to do. You don't need to negotiate with any club. You agree terms with him. It's done. You move on to your next objective. And he's a player who fill in the need. Now the issue is the length of the deal, and that's what Nico Schira is saying Di Maria is close, as we know. He likes the idea of joining the club. They will meet with Jorge Mendes' agent soon. Like 7 million euros is kind of agreed. The only issue is he's asking for 1, and the club is looking for 1+1, because if the second one is activated, they will take advantage of the decree. So you need to pay less. He needs to pay less taxes. All those things. That's the quote-unquote issue. I don't think it's an issue. I think it's just something the club wants to include, just in case Di Maria's like, I like it, I will do another year. And the club is like, okay, fine. You know, you can stay another year. The taxes go down on the wages and all those things. And we can bring the next guy playing alongside you. And when you leave, he's up. You know, I think that's the direction the club is going into. But again, free transfer, you can get it done. Like, we can sit here in July the 1st, or maybe next week, and we have signed a midfielder and a right winger for Allegri's 4-3-3, if he's going to play that. Apparently, he's going to play that. So that's efficient business. Now, people can say it's not the business we need. That is something we will argue on the live or in the comments. Leave your comments. If you want to come on the show and become a member, if you haven't, so you can come on the show like Davide, Malik, Dash, all those guys. It's fun. Discord group. I think that's the club's attention, you know, filling the needs with spending little money, I would say, in terms of transfer fee, and spend that money in positions we also need to strengthen, and where there's no free agent. There's no free agent left back, excuse me. There's no free agent center back besides Romagnoli, which, you know, so I think that's the club's attention. And maybe it's like, we need a backup striker who's free, no one, or we will talk about someone. We will spend that money in that position, or another midfielder, an extra midfielder, and we will also talk about that. So Di Maria, Pogba, it seems, I won't say it's done, but it's getting close to being done at the moment. Things can change. You never know in football. But as things stand, those deals are almost done, basically. Let's see how that will develop. Then we move on to another news piece. The source is Nico Schira. That's not true. It's Daniele Longo. It's a mistake. And he talked about a centre back. And we know Cherubini is in London to, you know, meet with Manu just for good manners, telling them, you know, we're trying to sign Pogba because Manu are trying to keep him still a little bit, just for good manners. But the news was also he's talking to Arsenal, or will talk to Arsenal for Gabriel, the defender. And Daniele Longo, again, not Nico Schira, saying Gabriel is Juve's main target. Contacts with his new agent, Bertolucci, Arsenal's intention remain to be understood. Now, I think Arsenal's intentions are, in my opinion, clear. That I don't think they want to sell. First of all, they signed them a few years back, like last season, I think, last summer, previous summer, not the summer before that, excuse me. He's a starter. Arteta doesn't really like Saliba, so you need to replace Gabriel with who? Because they have a starting partnership now, Gabriel and Ben White. So you need to shake that up once again. So that's why I don't think Arsenal are willing to sell. On top of that, they paid 27 million euros. Arsenal will at least ask for 40 million euros. Maybe it's an Arthur inclusion. Maybe it's the club's way to get rid of Arthur, and it's like, okay, we can get Gabriel, who the club followed. Like Paratici, Cherubini, he followed them at Lille. When he was at Lille, he followed them. So he's liked by the club. We know that. But maybe it's something like, okay, you get Arthur because you want Arthur. We get rid of Arthur because we don't want Arthur. And we got Gabriel, a defender we need because we need to replace Chiellini. Maybe that's what the club is thinking. But I'm not a big fan of Gabriel. I will say that. That's my opinion. I think he makes too many mistakes still. He's 24. Again, that's still very young for a defender. But he has like those brain freezes almost. And where it's like, you're playing an amazing game and then you do something like that. I'm like, why? So I'm not really sure. I'm a bit confused about that. Again, the source, Daniele Longo, you can question that, but even Di Marzio said it, like, I don't know, when we played Venezia, before the Venezia game, he said like the club is going for Gabriel. So there is some truth to it. It's not something completely made up. Let's see how that will pan out, because we need a defender like Gatti. He cannot come in and replace Chiellini. Like he just can't. Like, I'm sorry. I hope he turns out to be fantastic, but we have no guarantee, because he played Serie B football. Let's be real over here. So we don't have any guarantee that he can come in and replace Bonucci, who I think he will. I don't want him to struggle, but I think he will struggle with injuries. So that's something we need to look at. It's not bringing Gatti. We have him, and he will just fill in the needs we are asking for coming season. But let's see. The Gabriel news is kind of heating up at the moment. Let's see how that will pan out. And talking about defenders, really quickly, news broke. Again, it's Supermercato Web, Sport Italia. I mention it because we have been linked to Acerbi in the past, saying Juventus and Lazio are working on Acerbi-Rugani swap deal. Just please no. I don't rate Rugani, and if we can sell Rugani, I would do it. But bringing in Acerbi makes no sense. Like, he's not a good player. Let's be real. He's very old. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. Then keep Rugani at that point. Keep him. So just putting that out there really quickly. Giovanni's saying everybody is denying it. I think also Nico Shira saying all sources are denying that this deal is being discussed, basically. So let's see how that will pan out. But I think Rugani is going to stay. I think he's going to stay because it's too much. Replacing Chiellini and Rugani, like, it will be a struggle to bring in one quality defender. Then you also need to bring in a backup. I'm not sure about that. Now let's move on to some weird news, but it's a good source. Allegri wants a backup striker. We know that he wants something to replace Vlahovic, focal point. And the name that has been coming up lately is that of Arnautovic from Bologna. It's a no. It's absolutely a no for me. And I get why Allegri wants him. The way he plays, the way you can play if a game is close, like all those things. But no, like, it's a weird one. It's actually a weird one. I think it's one of those things the club will, if they do it, they will do it very late in the transfer market, when they basically know, okay, Morata's not possible. I'm just throwing out names. Raspadori is not possible. Keane, whatever. We need to bring someone in. Arnautovic, please come in. I think that's that type of deal. If it happens, if it's anything serious, I don't think it's like he's top of the board and the club is like, now, okay, after Di Maria and Pogba, if it happens, we're going for Arnautovic. We're going to put our time into signing Arnautovic. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a very late option in terms of, okay, we have no option, please Arnautovic come in, you know. I don't think it's the main objective, but his name is coming up, so we need to talk about it. But I'm not going to talk about it too much because it's still very early. You know, it's very confusing. So if the news develops, then yeah, we will delve in deeper into it. But for the moment, keep in mind, we are looking at Arnautovic to come in and be the backup. Then we move on to the left back update, also from Nico Schira, who spoke on Juventus. And he said, and that will piss off people, he said, Juve could retain Alexandro and sell Pellegrini to make money and sign another left back. Udogie, Wijndal and Emerson Palmieri are the left backs Juve are following most closely. I understand why people are being upset with the Alexandro Pellegrini news, but it makes sense. It makes sense for the simple reason of Paratici Marotta decided to give Sandro 6 million euro. He has a 1-year deal left still. Nobody's paying 6 million euros to Sandro. Sandro's not going to say, I'm going to take a 4 million euro pay cut. So it's very difficult to get rid of him. It's very easy to get rid of Pellegrini and you will bring in some money. And you bring in, apparently, you're starting left back, and Alexandro will be the bench player. That's the only thing. And it's not that, it makes sense footballing wise. It makes sense money wise, squad wise. And I've said it many times, I rate neither of them. Not Sandro, not Pellegrini. I think they're both average players. Sandro was great at a point, amazing. He's average now. I think Pellegrini is also not good. He's not a good player. He offers absolutely nothing. I know people say, going forward, his crosses. I mean, it's fishing. Like you're reaching for stuff that are not actually out there, you know. He cannot be the starter for Juve, neither of them. So if you can get money of Pellegrini, great, do it and bring in your starting left back. And next season, Alexandro leaves, you bring in a backup, you know. And people say, but Pellegrini could be the backup. Yeah, but like that's the situation the club created with the wages. Like you need to make hard decisions. It is what it is. That's the situation the club created. Now, Udogie, my favorite. Wijndal, let's see. I think Ajax are really pushing for him. I think he's going Ajax. Emerson Palmieri, I don't know why that name is still being mentioned. It's scary. It's actually scary that we're being linked with Emerson Palmieri when you have already Alexandro in your team. Like, it's scary. So, I'm not saying I don't believe it, because I do believe the club is looking at it. I'm just saying I'm blanking it out for now. That's what I'm saying. Hoping it's not being true. But let's see how that will develop. Next one up is Regista. Okay. Nico Schira said Juve have met with Jorginho's agent in recent months with not signing a renewal with Chelsea. The midfielder could leave the club at the end of the season for a fee close to 30 million euros, and he can be a concrete target for the club. Then he went on responding to someone on Twitter saying, if the club sells two midfielders, and he said Arthur McKennie, they will look for Regista. Giovanni Albanese said the club, if they get Pogba free, they will turn to Jorginho. 30 million euros a lot. Like, he has 1 year left on his contract. He took a decline, like, I'm not gonna lie, but when you hear names of like, Paredes can come in a swap deal with Keane to play the Regista role, then you think about, then bring in Jorginho. If you actually want the Regista, don't bring in players like Paredes, and actually bring in Jorginho. But 30 mil, 6 million euro wages, it doesn't scream a deal. It doesn't scream Juve is making that deal, in my opinion. You know, it sounds weird still. But we need to take it serious, because we have been linked with Jorginho for a while. It's not just something new. It's been a while, so we need to take it serious. Let's see how that will develop. I think it will depend on Pogba, Di Maria, and all those things, and who will leave. And who will leave is not going to happen like a Di Maria Pogba signing, because a free agent is going to take a long time, because the players we're trying to ship out are players nobody wants or are on high wages. Ramsey, Rabiot, Arthur, big wages, very difficult to move on, so we'll drag on. If a Jorginho type of deal, then it's gonna it will take all summer to happen, in my opinion. Because you need to ship up the players first, and we've seen how difficult it is to ship out the players. We've seen it for years, so let's see how that will develop. But it's more than an option. You need to seriously keep an eye on the Jorginho thing, because it's serious. It's serious. Like, the club is looking at him. So let's see how that will develop. And we move on to the last bit of news. I'm not gonna, because people watch the channel, they know what I think about Bernardeschi, so I'm not going on a rant. I just put out the news out there because all the reports are saying they're gonna meet this week for Bernardeschi with his agent to discuss a new deal. And Romeo said, Juve Bernardeschi, no update so far. A meeting between the two parties has not been scheduled for this week. I'm gonna say good news. There doesn't need to be any meeting. He needs to leave. It's as simple as that. I'm not gonna rant on this video. Everybody knows how I feel about Bernardeschi. He just needs to go. Just don't even start talks. That's that, basically. Again, it's a new show we're trying to do to discuss the late news that broke. Usually we're live at the time because that's why we created the channel. But I know a lot of people can't watch it live, so this is a new update. When you wake up or like midday, things can change really quickly. When you watch this video, it might be old news, but it is what it is. Thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more and better content this summer. Ciao.